Happy New Year's Eve, everyone! I have to say, 2022 was quite a year. The deaths of way too many beloved and influential figures, Kanye West letting loose some anti-Semitic stuff, terrorism in Afghanistan went up, shootings, Russia invaded the Ukraine, and many other unpleasant things. But it wasn't all bad. Maya Angelou became the first black woman to be featured on the U.S. Quarter. The once endangered humpback whales are growing in population thanks to conservation efforts. More than 500 acres of the California redwood forest was returned to Native American tribes. James Hong received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame at the age of 93. And R. Kelly finally got sentenced to prison after years of misconduct. For me personally, 2022 was a good year. I had an internship at my local Barnes & Noble. I got to go to Hailstorm and Merciful Fate concerts. And I made the choice of leaving Twitter. And let me tell you, it was one of the best choices I've made, as I've felt happier and more productive since I left. Not to mention I made the right choice of leaving ahead of time before Elon Musk bought it and the whole place went from bad to worse. One personal achievement I've made, I've rated 1,500 plus films and logged 300 plus films on Letterboxd. Letterboxd has motivated me to see more movies. I would come up with different themes for each month, watch movies in prep for a release, specific birthdays, milestone anniversaries, you name it. One thing I was impressed by was how many old movies I saw for the first time. So I decided to do a list on it. Here are my top 10 classic movies I saw for the first time in 2022. But first, I have some honorable mentions. Cowboy Bebop the movie, Trigun Badlands Rumble, Arthur Christmas, The Goonies, This Is Spinal Tap, Valhalla, Commando, Frida, and Point Break. Now on to the list. Number 10, The Hurt Locker. Kicking off my list is Catherine Bigelow's war film. This film was intense, and instead of going for the bombastic Hollywoodized action, it aimed for gritty realism. Not to mention the performances were phenomenal. Number 9, The Cat Returns. Expect more Studio Ghibli films here, as I am not the most caught up with their films. Luckily, Ghibli Fest 2022 showed a good deal of films that I hadn't seen before, so I was able to get caught up. Anyway, I love it when anime films take Western influences and mix them with their Eastern influences. This charming film felt like it was Japan's answer to Alice in Wonderland, The Wizard of Oz, and Labyrinth. Speaking of the last film, number 8, Labyrinth. I watched this for what would have been David Bowie's 75th birthday. This film was something for sure. The sets were well designed, and the puppetry by Jim Henson was amazing. And of course, Bowie stole the show as Jareth. Number 7, The Princess Bride. I watched this movie as part of 80s August. I can say this movie lives up to the hype and cult following status, with its unique storytelling and entertaining characters. Hating this film is just inconceivable. Number 6, Wolf Children. I watched this movie on Mother's Day, and it was just beautiful. Mamoru Hosoda has proven himself as one of the best anime directors, and this film is one of many examples. Plus, it was nice to have some positive wolf representation. Number 5, Ponyo. Another Studio Ghibli film. This film was just beautiful and cute. Not to mention the amount of detail that went into the animation was impressive, especially the sea life. Plus, the message was well done. Number 4, Kiki's Delivery Service. Yet another Studio Ghibli film. This was a film that I could resonate with. The allegory with flying and magic to creativity was brilliant. Plus, the landscapes are gorgeous. Number 3, The Elephant Man. Another movie I watched for 80s August. I also watched this in honor of Elephant Day. Yes, that's a thing. In a world where most films have the disfigured and disabled portrayed in a negative light, it was nice to have a disabled person portrayed as a human being. And the film showed that humanity is the real monster. Number 2, The Wizard of Oz. It's about time I saw this movie. I watched this on what would have been Judy Garland's 100th birthday. Despite being able to predict how this movie was going to go, I had a blast. And I kid you not, when Dorothy had to leave, I almost cried. So what movie could take the top spot instead of the most iconic movie of all time? Well, number 1, Johnny Got His Gun. This film was one of, if not the most upsetting and disturbing film I've ever seen. So why does it make number 1? Well, as bleak as it was, It was also beautiful, and its anti-war message was powerful. It did something that none of the previous movies have done on this list. It made me cry, and not wanting to cry or tear up slightly, it made me bawl my eyes out by the end. A movie rarely does this to me. So that's why Johnny Got His Gun is number 1. So those are some classic movies I saw for the first time in 2022. What are yours? I'd be curious to hear. With that being said, Happy New Year! Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you really enjoyed it, share, and subscribe.